Hey everybody, so I just got done watching a video on Monday debate. It involved a guy named Sam, T-Jump, a popular atheist YouTuber, and someone whose name may very well make your skin crawl as soon as I say it. Nadia Ahmed. Nadia Ahmed. That absolute joke of a Muslim apologist who debated the apostate prophet on Ross' channel. It's like the one video on his channel I actually like. So, in this debate, Nadir Ahmed is, you guessed it, epically losing. And he gets so desperate, he goes to the atheist, T-Jump, to try and get some support from him. Here's how that turns out.
In terms of his attributes and who Moses was. Did you see anything like that?
Intrinsically, it depends on what you mean by intrinsically, because you can interpret it in lots of different ways.
Well, like Moses, like characteristics. Moses has special, unique characteristics. Do you see any special, unique characteristics in Jesus?
Sure, I guess. I have no idea. Like, I'm not a biblical scholar in that sense.
Telling you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that his interpretation makes sense. I think that due to the ambiguity of language, you can make up similarities between anybody and anybody else and make him seem unique. I don't think there's any special.
Oh no, Nadir Ahmed, you just made a terrible mistake. Now quickly, do what every Muslim apologist does, especially you, and reinterpret the part where you were called out for completely screwing up into something you can use.
Characteristic of who Moses was. Sam, we don't find anything in there. I think what Tom is saying is you can try to interpret and you can try to make these vague similarities to make Jesus look like Moses, and that's what the New Testament authors did. But when you really look at them, put aside their differences, it's actually preposterous and ridiculous to compare Moses with Jesus, because Moses was a bloodthirsty murderer. He was almost like a Hitler. He said, kill all the men, women, and children, and the little girls, you can keep them for yourselves. Is that how you compare? Can you compare a man like that with Jesus? Little girls are for you, Jesus? So but the difference is not.
Okay, stop. I will not sit here and let a Muslim criticize Jesus under the understanding that he may have liked little girls. If he did, it would be wrong. But a Muslim certainly has no business criticizing Jesus for that, because, you know, Muhammad and his favorite rape victim, Aisha. Second, I'd like to point out how I love T-Jump's response to Nadir Ahmed saying, oh, well, what I think T-Jump's trying to say is, Tom goes, now see, I haven't been debating atheists as long as some. However, I do think I have debated enough atheists to understand some of the body language. For example, when T-Jump did what he did, he was saying, oh my god, dude, no. Unlike your holy book, which only claims to be clear, I was actually being clear. I said what I said, and I said what I meant. Stop trying to reinterpret this so you can look right. Ladies and gentlemen, the best part is, we're not even done yet, because somehow, nearly 50 minutes into the debate, Nadir is insistent he can't find one single similarity between Jesus and Moses, as you can see.
But the difference is now there could be some similarities. So my point here with Sam, where I'm trying to corner you at, if you look at who Moses was and you look at who Jesus was, I don't see any similarity between them.
Well, let's see. They both came to bring a new law to God's people. They both made migrations from Egypt, out of Egypt, and both worked miracles, and they both have at least one S in their name. I am not an expert in anything. I have the same academic credentials as Socrates, Sun Tzu, Lao Tzu, Confucius, and some of the other greatest thinkers in the world. And somehow, even when it comes to Nadir Ahmed and his ability, I think he has a degree in Islamic studies or something, he teaches people, I could spot one. But let's see how the Christian responds.
No, obviously, and one of the interesting things that I noticed is that you brought up migration. Now, by the way, I just wanted to address, because I'm really sorry that I wanted to let Tom get in first earlier, but I did badly want to address your previous point. I'll answer that and I'll get back to this, because I think that if you use Joshua if you actually use Joshua as the next Moses, I think that you have a lot of textual problems there, but I kind of like that answer. I'll tell you why. Because if you use Joshua, what you're essentially saying is that even though Joshua was there and Joshua was mentioned in the previous verse 9 of Deuteronomy 34, the author of the Bible or whoever was writing it, actually most Jews, based on tradition, believe Joshua wrote that passage, could have actually said that Joshua was the one who was going to be replacing Moses, but in fact, the text clearly says, till this day, the day when Joshua is there, no one has risen like Moses. That seems really weird, because if Joshua is the one who is writing that, he ought to know he was like Moses. So, and number two, the people, and this is an important point, Nadir, and I think you and I are going to have to agree on this. If you take Joshua to be the prophet like Moses, you are basically seeing the prophecy of Moses in Deuteronomy 18 to be forth-telling. Forth-telling in the sense that it was speaking about the people at their time. But you and I, if you believe it's Muhammad and I believe it's Jesus, we both agree with that it is foretelling, speaking about something that's going to happen in the future. The group that don't believe of the foretelling are the group that is actually saying it is Joshua. And you don't want to go to that, Nadir, because you believe in the foretelling element. Number three, and finally, the reason why I think I kind of like the fact that you mentioned it's Joshua is because actually the name Jesus is a Greek rendering of the Hebrew Yeshua.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Now you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, okay, Trey, we've heard enough from the peanut gallery. Nadir Ahmed embarrassed himself, like he did in his debate with the apostate prophet, Sam Samoon, David Wood, literally any other person he has ever debated. But, oh no, this is pure comedy gold. Because T-Jump, the guy he went to try and back him up, he ain't done. He came back to finish Nadir with what we in the Mortal Kombat fandom call a brutality.
There's Nadir, when you're claiming that there's some kind of intrinsic similarity to Moses, I don't see that intrinsic similarity. I actually think Samuel has more of a point here when it says that they're going to bring up a prophet from within your brethren in Israel.
Brutality.
But alas, that is the only fate left for Nadir Ahmed. After so many people have tried to get through to him, I honestly think it would be just simpler and more entertaining to ask him,
do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
But honestly, when it comes to the atheist T-Jump, if you're anything like me, you are probably watching this debate thinking to yourself, oh, I forgot you were here. I'm listening to this debate at work, and all of a sudden I hear someone say, hey, T-Jump, what do you think? And I'm like, oh yeah, he's here. Like, in a debate about who was prophesized in the book of Deuteronomy, why did we bring an atheist? Maybe some middle ground? But essentially, T-Jump's whole thing was, the Bible says that if a prophet speaks something presumptuously and is proven to be a false prophet, they shall die. And T-Jump basically said, well, Muhammad didn't die and Jesus didn't die after prophesizing, so, there's no way to really tell. Because neither of them died. Now, to anybody with a lick of biblical literacy in them, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, no, that means you kill the person for pretending to be a prophet. To which his response is essentially, well, where does it actually say that? Now, the Christian response by saying, hey, everyone's going to die, so if it was just some undescribed way to die, you know, eventually, hell, even the real prophets would have been fake. But, just to essentially wrap it up, I could say a T-jump, where in the Bible does it say that we should kill homosexuals? And if you're thinking about that verse, let me just say, oh no, 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 using T-jump's logic, it doesn't say explicitly that the Israelites should be the one to kill them. Maybe God's going to kill them and make the blood be upon them in some weird way. Well, as long as Nadir Ahmed was there, T-Jump was not the stupidest person in the room. When he debates Eric Hernandez, though, that's a video for another time. Like, subscribe, do all that good YouTube stuff. See you next video.